Loyalty, for sure. Yeah, hands down with me, loyalty. And I don't mean blind loyalty. If I did something dumb, I would want anybody on my staff to tell me. And I had an open door policy. If they thought they knew something or how to do something better than I was doing it, then I wanted them to tell me that. Now, did I want them to tell me that at the rib cage after a game when all of our parents, administrators are there? Probably not. Come in my office, come over to my house. We were together all the time. A large percentage of the assistant coaches that I had, we became great friends. Our families became friends. Stephanie and their wives became friends. We watched their kids for them. We had some great experiences, but I wanted them to come in and talk to me about those things. I had pretty much one stipulation if they were going to come and talk to me about something that I was teaching is don't come to me with the problem. You got to come to me with the solution. Tell me the problem, but then give me your solution. And maybe I will employ that notion or maybe I won't. That's part of the way to being a head coach or any position of leadership. Loyalty is huge and loyalty is a two-way street. I was going to go to the wall for my assistant coaches and I demanded that in return for them. I gave them a lot of responsibility. I think I was really good at teaching them our system and what my expectations for them were. I also think I was really good at listening to them because I had some assistant coaches who were fantastic. I think we have 6 or 7 who have gone on to be head coaches. Several of them are still coaching an assistant role in different districts. For example, Nate Wiley's the head coach at Muskegon University now. He was with us for some of our best years at Maumee High School. Not just a great basketball mind, but also a fantastic person. Nate's a great dad. He's got a beautiful family. He's got it together, I'll put it that way. But a good kid, good guy. And I've had some great experiences with a lot of great coaches. And the one bonding thing we had come winning times, losing times, times where we were tired, and when you get irritable with each other, at times you can be hard to be around. I know I can be for sure. And I think loyalty is your one lightning rod there that keeps everybody together. Now, I've also had a handful of bad experiences, always during year one when I would get a new job and we would move and I would have the assistant coaches from the previous staff, or sometimes the administrators would make me take on certain people who were already there teaching that they wanted to see in a coaching role and pretty much took it out of my hands. And that just never worked out. I wanted to pick my own guys. And yes, I did inherit stabs from the previous coach, and we got along great. Had great experiences. But dong, man, the some of the knuckle draggers I've had with non-loyal, just evil assistants, all stem from that 1 year system of these guys or this person's yours, and it didn't work out. It was a terrible situation for them. It was a terrible situation for me. And a lot of things John Q. Public doesn't realize when a coach and his family moves to town and they're new, they don't know anybody except the people who hired them. Everybody's looking at you as the new coach. Everybody's looking at your wife and they're picking up tendencies. They notice everything you do because they want to get to know you. They also want to find out what makes you tick. I could ramble on about that forever, but those assistant coaches, that is a critical time when the new coach has moved in and they're at the gas station and they run into somebody who's a season ticket holder and say, "Hey, tell me about the new coach." And that assistant coach says, I'm not a fan, not impressed, not impressive, anything like that, or gives a nonverbal body language answer that's not positive, then that's never going to be good because within 30 minutes, that knowledge is going to be transmitted throughout the community, especially if it's a small community. And now that poor coach and his family are starting off already with 2 strikes, or at least 1 strike. So again, having loyal assistants, if they're inexperienced, I was very confident in my ability to teach them what I needed them to do. As long as you're loyal, you've got to have loyal assistants. So answer your question, what was the first characteristic I looked at when I hired assistants when I was in high schools who valued athletics and let me hire my staff and match those up with the open teaching positions in our building, whether it was junior high, elementary, or high school, those all worked out, but it all came down to loyalty. That was the first thing. That was the most important thing. I think everything else from there I could handle, but I couldn't. If you're not loyal, that just wasn't going to work with me. I was raised by very strong-willed males who impounded pounded into my brain the importance of loyalty, not just my parents. Growing up with mentors like Hugh Gibson, Rick Stout, Paul Kaiser, Doug Seagraves, all of these guys. I know I'm leaving some people out. I don't mean to, but these older guys who took me under their wing when I was just in sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth grade, then all the way through high school, and taught me about basketball. Initially, it was all about basketball, and then you start date. We started dating, and these are the guys I could talk to about how to talk to girls or anything. If I was in trouble at home and I needed $5 or whatever, I could. I had these guys who were kind of like pseudo older brothers to me who taught me a lot about life and how life works. I think with mentors like that, I think I went into university maybe with a little bit of a leg up as far as maturation goes, just in understanding how the world works a little bit. But I know this is supposed to be a short question, and I've kicked the heck out of it. But one of the things those guys implanted into my brain was you can be a lot of things, but if you're not loyal, you're going to struggle finding people to hang out with or people who will like you, respect you forever. That's something that'll never change. And, then they laugh unless you're a multi-billionaire, which obviously going into education, that's not going to happen to me, and that's fine. Sorry this took so long to answer, but definitely loyalty.